Hello and welcome to the WBAP 820 570 KLIF Weather Podcast, recorded Monday, March 28th. I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Barton from the Cumulus Media Center in Dallas-Fort Worth. We're about 36 hours away from a potential severe weather outbreak in North Texas and much of Tornado Alley, for that matter. So first, let's go ahead and check out our visible satellite loop from this morning. You can see a couple of things we'll pass along to you. First, looking off to the west, now our storm system is just barely entering the California coast right now, but there are some vanguard clouds out ahead of it already in Arizona and New Mexico, and also, and you see these other clouds in South Texas. They're fairly high clouds, but notice the northward flow of Gulf moisture coming in on the middle Texas coast. That's the low-level Gulf moisture that is going to feed the storm system that is going to be crossing Texas within the next 36 hours. And there's a lot more moisture where that came from, okay? All right, now let's take a look at our radar across the country this morning. Fairly quiet, actually. We have some of those rains moving in on San Francisco and Los Angeles from that storm system. You can see there's a little bit of an arch there. Typical rains in Seattle and Oregon, and a little bit of lake effect snow left over, affecting Detroit, Toronto, and some areas in upstate New York, even Erie, Pennsylvania, and upstate New York, and things like that. Some lake effect snow, and just a little bit of rain now out in Arizona as well. So that's about all we have on the radar. Okay, now, as we switch over to the North American model, this is what shows a high-pressure ridge right now over the Rockies and the Midwest, but it's not going to last very long. Our next storm system is just now moving onto the California coast, and it's going to be spreading eastward across the Great Basin toward us within the next day and a half, okay? Okay, now we're switching over to the predictive precipitation view of this same model. The main low is moving in from the Rockies into the Midwest. In fact, the main low will be over Kansas, but picking up Gulf moisture along the dry line and the Pacific front. That's what we're going to see Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. I believe this particular model stops right at 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. By 7 o'clock Wednesday morning, most of the rain should be over, but this could be a very noisy nighttime event that we're going to be dealing with. Just kind of keep that in mind. See, that's 7 o'clock Tuesday morning, and routine showers and a couple of thunderstorms are trailing out of the area. And, of course, this area of storminess, especially up in Oklahoma into the Ozarks, will become more severe Wednesday as the day wears on. All right, let's look at the weather maps now. Here is today's weather map centered at noon, well, actually 1 o'clock. Monday afternoon. You can see more and more rain moving on shore. Notice the occluded front right off the coast of California. This is a very tightly wound storm system. Not only that, it has multiple vortices with it. Multiple impulses will be coming across in areas north of Texas, but it just goes to show that it's a pretty powerful storm system. Significant rains in the Pacific Northwest and pretty good snow still left over from colder air moving in from Canada on those three high-pressure zones over the Great Lakes, and pretty good snow over, the metro northeastern hubs and just about all of New England. Moving ahead in time now, we are at Tuesday morning, 7 o'clock Tuesday morning. Our big western storm system is now moving well inland. Big heavy snows over the Rockies, especially over Yellowstone. And you can see now also across Texas, we have very tightly spaced isobars, areas of equal pressure. So that means we're going to see very gusty south winds across the state of Texas tomorrow. That dry line, those little half-moon things, the dry line extending kind of in a snake-like fashion south of the low, is going to be an important division between the hot, dry desert air to the southwest, coming in especially from Mexico in this case, and the more moist Gulf air to the east. The Pacific front is a slow mover. It's going to take a while to get through. But again, this is for Wednesday morning, and we'll go ahead and move on now to the next picture, which is Tuesday evening. This will be 7 o'clock Tuesday evening, and that's when things are going to be getting underway across the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Showers first, thunderstorms later, and if you look back to the cold front, you can see that Pacific front still has a long way to go before it clears through the area, probably closer to midnight before things really actually improve across the area. We start off with showers, get some big thunderstorms in the middle of the night. In fact, this takes us now into 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. The worst of it is over. The rain is clearing out. We're going to have some strong, gusty northwest winds to follow the front across, but we could pick up an inch and a half of rain, which would be very much needed. The problem is we could also pick up some very high winds and hail, so the Storm Prediction Center has placed a large area of slight risk over just the classic Tornado Alley. San Antonio, up across Dallas-Fort Worth, Wichita Falls, through almost all of Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, clearing up into Iowa. This is good during the day Tuesday from 12Z. That'd be 7 o'clock Tuesday morning to 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. That's a 24-hour deal. And then outside that, there's still a marginal risk area. And also, we're now close enough on a day 2 severe weather outlook, we can specify what our risks are. Here you see a 15% greater than normal chance of damaging winds, which is right in our area. And then in our next image, a 15% greater than normal chance for large damaging hail. That might be a little bit off to our west, but we do expect to see gusty winds and hail both. And we can't rule out an isolated leading edge spin up on the squall line. We get small tornadoes like that, F0s, F1s, and so forth, and they can tear some things up pretty well, just going at, 75 to 110 miles per hour. So I wouldn't be surprised, depending on the breaks, whether it may be a severe thunderstorm watch tomorrow evening through Wednesday morning, or it may well be tornado watch in some places. So here is our extended forecast. Today, sunny, windy, and warm with a high of 85, loading up on Gulf moisture, humidity on the increase, south winds 15 to 25. We'll cloud over tonight with a low of 64, and the winds will stay up. Then cloudy, windy, and more humid during the day Tuesday. We'll have spotty showers anytime, but then thunderstorms approaching from the west, probably any time after dark. They could be at 7 o'clock in the evening, could be midnight, but any time after dark, some storms could be severe after a high of 83 and low of 62. And we'll still have gusty south winds all day Tuesday. Wednesday, rain and thunderstorms end probably after daybreak, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and they continue to move on out, and other areas to the east will be under the gun for severe weather. We'll be clearing, windy, and turning cooler that day with a high of 72 and low in the 40s. Wednesday night, northwest winds up to 35 miles per hour. On Thursday, sunny, breezy, and 71 with a low near 50. And on Friday, mostly sunny, windy, and a little bit warmer with a high of 77. And so far, the weekend looks good. Thanks again for joining us for today's WBAP 820 570 KLIF weather podcast from the Cumulus Media Center in Dallas-Fort Worth. We'll keep you posted with tweets of radar loops, satellite loops, and new warnings and watches as they are delivered tomorrow at Brad Barton DFW. At Brad Barton DFW, that's my handle. And be sure and follow me on Twitter, and we'll update you as much as we can before the storms start moving in sometime tomorrow night. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.